guys, welcome back. If you are new here, then I'm Kaya, this is Dom, and we have something very, very exciting to show you. Shall we get on with it?
Yes.
Shall we let them see it? Let's do it!
So, we bought a new computer, and we've had a delivery. So, let's get opening.
So Dom has just opened the box. Tell us what's in the box.
Right. One DisplayPort cable.
And what does that do?
That will connect from the gaming computer to the monitor.
Always useful.
So very useful.
Ooh, that looks nice.
One illuminated gaming keyboard and mouse. Ergonomic design. A load of bubble wrap.
Well, hey! Useful.
The mouse mat. We did not get an RGB one because everything else was super expensive, so we'll get an RGB one at another point. And then the best part.
Way! It's like Christmas.
The 24-inch Asus gaming computer, 144Hz, 1920 by 1080 resolution.
Gaming monitor, not
Gaming
computer.
monitor. That is true. We'll link all the stuff down below, but you can find it at CCL Computers, is where I bought all of this stuff from. Very good prices. So yeah, let's get a making. So, first things first, we have the mouse mat. Just in black, just plain and simple. But yeah, number one.
Way!
DisplayPort cable, unboxed already, just a cable, 2 meters long, just to get us from the computer to the monitor. Now, attack Kaya, and then the keyboard and mouse. This is RGB, so this will light up. Well, I don't know if it's RGB, it's red, blue and purple, I think. We went for the cheaper version, because that's what we need to do at the minute. That's what it looks like.
It's quite an old style.
Yeah, it's
Keyboard,
quite an old
isn't it?
style
It's
keyboard,
nice.
but it's nice. It's nice and
Is it smooth? That's the question.
Yeah.
Nice.
it is nice. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Cool.
Right, plonk you down there. And then
Have
the
a look
mouse.
at the mouse. This one don't squeak, which is cool.
This one don't squeak. Oh, it's got buttons on the side. I didn't realise it had them.
That's like when you're scrolling and stuff.
Yeah, you can switch between like desktops and stuff. So this is the mouse. It's plain and simple, but it does also light up in red, blue and purple. USB, same as the keyboard. I have got a wireless mouse, and I do have a wireless keyboard somewhere. That's just for when I'm editing, rather than playing games. So yeah, there's that. And now, for the big thing. The monitor! Let us open, somehow, carefully. We don't advise you use scissors. But
What else are you going to use them for?
I'm going to use scissors. Right. Be very careful. Do not slice your hand, especially as I would get this on video, so that would be quite entertaining for you people. A lot of polystyrene is going to go over this living room. Right. How would you get it out the box? Out the box. Whoa. Grab that. Right, I got it. Woo! She's a big one. Right, so we want to lay this flat down here. Take the really annoying polystyrene off.
Into place.
Slide that off.
Oh, it's even got a thing on it.
Peel that off. Stick that up. And peel off the little...
Ah, it's stuck to me! No! Oh.
So this wants to go... Oh, it spins. That's weird. The bottom bit spins. So this bottom bit spins. I don't know exactly what that does. That might make it easier just to spin the monitor around. Right. Shall we
Put it together!
get the instructions out? Because as much as I love to build things without the instructions...
You're a man, you don't
I'm a man without using instructions. It might not have instructions. Keep poking it. You're almost there. We're almost there.
Okay.
Instructions. So it goes on that way and then
Have the
just
front of the monitor face down on the table.
It is.
Rotate the arm anti-clockwise 90 degrees.
Anti-clockwise 90 degrees.
Fix the base to the arm by fastening the bundle screw.
I'm stuck to some plastic.
You might need a screwdriver.
No, it's got a thing on it. Okay. Unless there is some screws somewhere as well, because there is some holes here. But it doesn't look like it. Right. Then we twist this.
Oh yeah, just twist it.
Tighten it up. Lock it in. And we're in. And we'll go and get a screwdriver just to get it a bit tighter.
This is making no sense.
Tighten it up.
Or don't.
Or don't. It's already tight. Right, well. The monitor's put together, so the next thing you'll hopefully see is us connecting it to the computer. So, let's go and do that. So we've managed to get the monitor into the computer at last. So now for the keyboard, that will go in here, like so. And it's lit up. So now the mouse. So, powered the computer on, whirring away in the background. We shall turn this on and see what happens. Everything's lit up now, so that's gone blue and the other one's red. The way I have the colours set in here is it goes green is when it's cool, yellow when it's getting a bit warm, and red when it's too hot, so I know if I need to turn it off. But the fans do a very good job at keeping it cool. There's two fans pulling air in from the front, one from behind, two pushing air out, pushing the hot air out, and then a water cooler inside pulling the heat away from the CPU. So we've booted her up, we've got it on the screen, glowing away. I've been looking for a new gaming computer online for quite some time and found quite a few on Amazon that looked quite good, but I wasn't entirely sure on their pricing and the tech specs of them. So I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and found a company called TNS Creations. So on researching them and researching how they work, I decided to give them a call and see if they could spec out a computer for me. So the following day I gave them a call and spoke to Tom, and we spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours on the phone discussing what I need gaming wise, what I need editing wise, and what I want the computer for. And throughout that conversation, he then figured out what kind of tech I would need with the specifications of the computer to allow me to do the work that I was requiring. So that included a graphics card to do advanced gaming, RAM and a CPU that would allow me to do quick edits and export the edits really quickly as well. A hard drive that would be big enough to fit all of my work on it and to allow me to not run out of space in a short period of time. A boot up SSD drive that would allow the computer to boot up extremely fast. A power supply that would allow it to run overnight, because I do a lot of my exporting overnight when we're asleep, so I'll edit throughout the day, set up a queue, and then it'll export throughout the night so that when I wake up in the morning it's all ready and I haven't wasted any time. So if we get into the specs of the computer, and then we can talk about it individually and go through how it makes the computer better and work for what I needed.
So the first thing that is in this computer is a 6 terabyte Barracuda hard drive. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
So that will allow me to save all of my files and keep a section of it as an archive, which just stores completely out of the way of the main operating system, but also allows me to have plenty of space, so I'm not going to run out anytime soon, because we do export rather large files on occasion. So yeah, in my laptop it had a 2 TB hard drive, and that was just filling up extremely quickly, so this will last me a while.
The next thing is a Fractal Design Focus G case, which is the case that goes over the top, and it's in the colour blue.
It has a 3.0 USB and a 2.0 USB on the top, a headphone jack and a microphone jack to plug in your headphones and microphones, a restart button and a power button. It's got 2 expansion bays on the front, allowing for a DVD drive or an extra hard drive bay. The front looks really nice. The top has got a grill over the top for the 2 fans to come out, a glass case on the side, and the back has 7 expansion slots for your graphics cards and all of anything you could need to expand, really.
The next thing is the Wi-Fi card. It is 2.4 and 5 gigahertz.
So that just allows for multi-bandwidth. So a lot of Wi-Fi routers these days give out both 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz signals. So this just allows it to connect to both. Motherboard, which we'll get to later, also does have a network port in it as well. So for gaming especially, it's good to have it wired into your internet connection.
The next thing is a 240 gigabyte solid state drive.
So this is the boot up drive that has Windows on it and all of your programs software, so that when your computer boots up, it is only using this drive initially, which makes it extremely quick when you from pressing the power button to having it there ready to go. It's not having to look through your entire 6 TB hard drive to find the boot up operating system.
The next thing is the Cool Master CPU cooler.
So this is from Deepcool. It's a water cooler, an AIO water cooler, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It takes the heat from your CPU, transfers it via a metal plate into the water, and the water then takes it to your radiator, and the fans then blow through it to take the heat out of your case. I changed the Deepcool fans for 2 Corsair magnetic fans simply because I'm a noise freak and it was very loud, and because of where it is compared to where we're sitting, I sit on the sofa and the computer is right next to me, so I wanted it to be quiet, and the magnetic fans are unbelievably quiet and can run so much slower while still giving you the same performance.
So the next thing is a Corsair 650 Power Pack 80 Plus.
So this is a 650 watt power pack. It's 80 plus rated, so that if there was a power cut or anything like that, or a surge of power, the power pack would be able to deal with it and either distribute the power out, or the power pack would take the brunt, so you wouldn't actually lose any of your other components inside the computer. This is especially good, as I said earlier, because I do a lot of my exporting and encoding overnight. So if I'm not around to keep an eye on the computer and something goes wrong, the computer will deal with itself and look after itself. And if the power pack goes, it's a lot cheaper to replace than all of your components.
So the next thing is the Ryzen 7 3700X 8-core 4.4 GHz CPU.
So this is your processor. This is the workhorse of your computer, the main part that's going to be doing all of your workload. This, although it has 8 cores, it has 16 threads, and each thread can give out 4.4 GHz at max turbo boost. Its base clock is 3.6 GHz, and we decided on this because of the editing and the gaming. It allows for multi-thread working, so it makes the computer a lot faster. Ryzen have become a lot better recently, outdoing Intel insanely, especially for price as well. You can get an Intel Core processor that will give you 8 cores within it, but it doesn't give you the 16 threads. So yeah, we went for the Ryzen, and no complaints. It's super fast. It does everything I need. It's amazing, really.
The next thing is the Asus B450F gaming motherboard.
So this is specifically designed for gaming, but is also really good for editing. You can fit up to 128 gig worth of RAM on it. You've got plenty of expansion slots, plenty of spaces for fans. It's got, I believe, two 3.0 USB slots in the back, along with two 3.1 USB slots in the back. Your standard jack connections, a HDMI, a DisplayPort, some 2.0 USB slots. So yeah, you'll have more than enough USB slots to plug in everything you need. You don't want to run any displays out of the motherboard, so you don't need any of those anyway. But it's RGB as well, so it will light up and change colour, as you'll see. Asus are really good on the mid-range motherboard market, especially for gaming.
Okay, so the next thing is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 3200 MHz DDR4 RAM 2 times 8 GB.
So this is quite high RAM, 3200 MHz, usually looking about 2400 MHz, but for the editing I needed to do, it just works so much quicker. It comes in 2 sticks of 8 GB rather than 1 stick of 16, just to allow for that multi-RAM workload. I can open multiple Google Chrome browsers and tabs, watch YouTube videos at the same time as exporting Premiere software. I can play games at the same time while Premiere is exporting, and it just balances the workload out across it all. So yeah, 16 GB is good. I would like to upgrade to 32 at some point, but it was just a money factor. 32 would just make it a bit allow me to open more things in the background while I'm working.
So the last thing that is in this computer is the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 2060 Super Overclocked 8 GB.
So this is the graphics card that is providing all of the detail and graphics for the gaming. I can run everything, AAA games on super high quality and get incredible frame rates. We recently bought Planet Zoo, and that runs it no problem at all. Same with Planet Coaster, with Space Engineers, GTA, all of those games, no problems, and I can still edit and do stuff in the background whilst playing those games. Obviously you wouldn't be editing and playing the games at the same time, but like exporting and playing the games at the same time. The only other things to add is there's two fans that come with the case, which are in the front, which are pulling air into the case. Then I've got the 2 Corsair magnetic fans in the top, blowing the air through the radiator, as I explained before. And then I have one which was an exhaust fan out the back, which is the deep cool one, which came with the cooler, but I've swapped that out for the magnetic ones. So that is now my exhaust fan, which I've flipped around to bring more air in, so that it keeps it all cooler inside. We'll be looking at getting a dust cover for the back as well, because when you're pulling more air in, you are obviously increasing the dust that's going in, but you want to keep positive air pressure inside your case, so that when it's pulling the air in, there's more air going into the case than there is going out, so that it forces air and dust out of the little holes, preventing dust build up inside your case. So yeah, that's the computer. So we'll now move on to the company. So TNS Creations is the company that built my computer for me. Once we'd spec'd it all out, Tom, who built it, bought all of the parts and put it together, and then within 2 days delivered it. So I ordered it on the Thursday, it was delivered on the Saturday, which is just incredible speed. He does say it can take up to, I think it's 47 days, but that entirely depends on what you're ordering and how big of a system you want, and whether everything arrives on time, but mine arrived within 2 days. He kept in contact the entire time and informed me as to how it was going every step of the way, so I was under no doubt that it was getting built. So this was quite an expensive computer, coming in at about £1,600, but it's really good, really quick, does everything I possibly need. He charges £100 to build your computer, so the cost of the components would have been £1,500, and then his charge was £100 on top. But I preferred for someone else to build it, simply because I'm not the best at building computers, and I wouldn't want to risk destroying all of the stuff having just paid that amount of money for it. However, if you want a computer from TNS Creations, then the code will be down below, and that's to get 10% off of the build costs over £100. So that's £10 off his £100 bill cost. I have to say they're a great company. They also specialise in candles and sweets, so we got a few of their TNS candles as well, which smell amazing. He has been over multiple times when I've had a few issues with it, with noise and with things not quite sounding right, and come over and checked it and everything's fine. With the noise issue, he suggested getting the magnetic fans, which have completely solved my annoyance for the amount of noise that was next to my ear, and that was simply just the noise of the fans working and the airflow, which would be fine for most people if you were having it in a desk, but for me, having it right next to my head and right next to my ear, it just wasn't for me. So when he delivered it, we spent about an hour to an hour and a half going through the setup and going through how it all works, plugging it into monitors and making sure everything was working, getting steam on it and getting the games running to make sure everything was how I wanted, getting it set up the way I needed it to be set up for editing, for gaming, for work. Yeah, and he really helped with getting all of that working. Since then we've added a few extra things, like we've got an Asus monitor, which will be linked down below, which is a 1080p 144Hz monitor with 1 millisecond response time. I've got a gaming keyboard and a gaming mouse. This is all from CCL Computers, which again will be linked down below. DisplayPort cables and all of that stuff. The graphics card also has a HDMI output, so I've got one DisplayPort going to my monitor and a HDMI output going to my living room TV, so I can run that as dual monitors or have a film on the TV whilst also working on the monitor. Tom also upgraded a few things for me, like he changed the motherboard to RGB because it cost a few pence difference, which was of no charge to me. The Deepcool water cooler is also RGB, and the Deepcool fans are RGB, giving it a nice glow inside. He also upgraded the hard drive. We spec'd out a 5TB hard drive, but the 6TB was only £1 or £2 more, so he got that for me. His cable management inside the case is incredible. It's so neat, so tidy. It looks amazing when you look through the glass. The case is great, which again was his idea, to get a slightly better case with the expansion slots in the front, because initially I wanted a DVD drive so that I could write and burn DVDs in the front, but since getting the case, we've decided not to put it in, simply because the case looks far nicer without the DVD drive in, and it's the same price to get a DVD drive USB into the back of the motherboard rather than actually having it internal in the case, which also allows me to plug it into other computers as well. The 7 expansion slots on the back means there's plenty of room for if I want to put a bigger motherboard in, a bigger graphics card, more RAM, more anything in the back. The motherboard has got an extra 2 slots for RAM. I'm only using 2 slots at the moment, so I can easily upgrade that to 32 gig, and then just buy different RAM setups to allow me to get up to the 128 gigabytes of RAM, but I don't think I'll need to go up that high. The cooling on the system is perfect. It rarely goes above 40-45 degrees for the CPU. It hits about 55 when I'm exporting, but that's because everything's running at full whack. All of the cores are running at 4.4 gigahertz, and all of the RAM is being used to get it exported. My exporting time on my laptop was 45 minutes for a half-an-hour video. It's now 7 minutes, so it's running far quicker, which is brilliant. It also allows me to record gaming videos far easier using OBS software. My laptop could do it, but then it wouldn't allow me to use the microphone or the camera, whereas this just does it all. For streaming, it's brilliant, especially wired into the Wi-Fi. We've had no problems with streaming. The quality is brilliant and there's no breakup in the streaming of the footage. We'd really recommend TNS Creations as a company to not only build your computer, but also for the candles as well. But the computer build inside was just incredibly quick, incredibly cheap. We researched numerous online computer building companies that were quoting £200-300 more, and that was just for the parts. The build cost was then on top of that, and that was about 14 to 21 days for delivery. This was 2 days. Amazon, you can get cheap gaming computers, but even a £900 gaming computer on Amazon, you could probably get slightly better, if not quite substantially better, components by going to TNS Creations. Simply because of the way they work, he will work with you to find what best suits your needs and your requirements for what you're looking to do. As I said before, the code will be down below and somewhere here. It's TNS Kadum,
which gives you 10% off the build cost of £100, so that's £10 off his build costs. And yeah, he'll deliver it if you're local to Derby or around that area, but after that it's postage fees and stuff. But I'm sure if you were to discuss it with him, there could be some arrangement as to him coming to you to help set it up, depending on your requirements and what you need. TNS Creations now have a website, which is tscreations.uk, where you can sign up for newsletters and you can create your own account, which will allow you to keep track of payments as well as order details if you are looking to buy a computer or any of the suites or candles that they provide. That's a good way to contact them, which will be listed down below as well. That is probably the best way to get in contact with them initially, and then once you've come up with an idea for what you want, maybe a phone call from that stage will help just to outline the few specific details that you require for your PC build.
So let's now take a look at the gaming footage, just so you can see how good the performance is and the quality is, because it is bang on perfect. So let's take a look.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of 911 Operator in respect of our NHS and frontline workers.
Manually pick a team member and choose a task for him using the left mouse button. At least one unit should stay on site until all the elements of an incident will be resolved.
You'll tell her yourself. You will tell her yourself. Hello and welcome to Magic of Doom live stream.
So I hope you've enjoyed watching what we have been up to recently and our newest purchase. If you would like to go down and have a look at all the links in the description, then please do, because it is well worth it. And that is the end of our review. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out the links. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment, all that jazz. And we'll see you very soon for another video. Bye.
Bye.